That's all right. Take your time. Whenever you'll get around to it, let me know.
I'm good. I forgot. I was chewing the hell out of that gum.
All right, here we go. Hey, welcome to another episode of the Black Guy Who Tells podcast. I'm your host, Rod, joined as always by my co-host,
Karen.
And we are live on a Wednesday, wrapping up the week. The official weapon of the show is
Folding
folding chair. And the unofficial sport, a bullet ball extreme. That's right, y'all. Check us out. Don't forget you can leave feedback by doing all the stuff you see in the show notes. I was trying to think, is there anything else? Nothing really. That was it. There you go. That's all the information you need to be aware of right now. This episode goes out to Tim Scott and his new fiance, Mindy. Hopefully they stop having enough passionate heterosexual love making and they can take time to listen to this episode between rounds. Karen, do you have any banter today?
I do. It ain't much, but I got it.
Okay.
I got one.
All right. Well, let me pull up a beat for you. All right, banter me, my guy.
My Negro. Negress.
My black. My African American. Banter me, please.
And I may have already said this,
Okay.
But I'm gonna say it again because it's been on my mind. I am really, really excited about the things we've been doing. I lost some weight and I'm very excited about that. And I didn't
what are you trying to say about all your fat friends, Karen? You can't be proud of that.
Why can't I be proud?
That's
I lost
the
the weight,
rules.
not them.
Triggered and attacked. Okay, go ahead.
Child, you just be triggered then. That's your problem.
Wow.
I ain't got nothing to do with that.
That's good. I mean, and it's mostly through just diet, because and not a diet, but diet the noun, because I do most of the cooking and stuff here, so you kind of just been eating what I cook.
I have.
Yeah.
And with us doing like some of the changes, and some of the changes I know are going to be permanent changes, because some of the things I like I was saying, yeah, we have the luxury of trying shit and be like, ooh, I like this, or ooh, this is nasty, don't buy it no more. And so because of that, we've been actually doing these things. Right? It's just these
cauliflower bites.
Thank you.
Something like
cauliflower
that.
bites,
which are expensive, by the way. Healthy snacks cost a lot.
Yes, and that's why when people be like, it
really
costs a lot of money, I'm like, yes.
You really get a handful of snacks. Like, it's really, in this bag, it's really like serving size one, basically.
Yes,
like,
it is
$7 for one serving size, and it got the nerve on the front to be like, a pound of cauliflower in each bite. I'm like, yeah, before it was dehydrated and turned into this shit. Nice try, motherfuckers.
Nice try. And so I get why people, and people act like people are just talking outside their ass when they be like, yeah, I get 2 cheeseburgers for $1. I get this salad for $15. Like, the fuck is this?
That was before the inflation and the corporations. I feel like
now the burgers is just as expensive.
Coming out the pandemic, I feel like it's $30 to go to McDonald's. So now they took away our one excuse.
It is $30.
You used to be like, man, I could go buy the ingredients for a salad. That's $30. I go up to McDonald's, it's only $5.99 for a quarter pound meal. Now it's like $17.99. You like, fuck, you motherfuckers, you calling my bluff.
Yes, everybody done raised them prices. Everybody's combos and shit is, jumped through the roof. I remember at one period of time a Big Mac was $2.99, $3.20 with tax. I'm in North Carolina, y'all. At one period of time. But, you cannot find anything almost menus, any combo less than $6, like $6 or $7 per combo, And so I think that making the choices that we be making and the decision, I didn't even realize that I had went to the doctor And she was like, "Oh, you lost what?" I was like, "I have. I just didn't realize it." And I think getting a lot of naturally getting rid of a lot of sugar and drinking more water and things like that just kind of caused the weight to go down. It wasn't on purpose, like that wasn't the intended goal, but that's kind of the outcome of it, and I'm very proud of that.
Cool. Yeah, I've been losing weight since December and stuff, but once again, it's just more about being active and shit like that, and certain trying new stuff, different foods and stuff like that. But I always feel conflicted about even sharing this stuff because I don't want. My goal is not to make anybody feel bad. I'm not trying to motivate somebody else. I'm just talking about my life and my banter, and we talk about our lives,
right?
Regardless, if it helps anybody today, I did eat some Thin Mints, and the serving size is one sleeve. So I went ahead and knocked a serving out today because I was craving. I didn't even go to the gym today because I was kind of sore. So but I plan on going tomorrow and stuff. But yeah, so listen, I'll share the ups and the downs, okay?
Right.
Or should I say the delicious days and the not so delicious days?
Right, because when I talked to the doctor, they were telling me, they were like, "Hey, y'all going in the right direction. You still doing like telling them about the Hello Fresh and all that stuff. They're like, you're doing the Hello Fresh, you're going in the right direction." And it's also one of the things where they was like, "You're not going to ever get to zero sugar." So most people, particularly in America, most everything you consume has.
Well, that's not a goal.
No, that wasn't a goal.
So it's not like it's. I'm not beating myself up over eating those cookies. Those I did it and it's back to the grind.
Yes.
It is what it is. I think in the past I would do something like that, and then I would just be like, well, fuck it, and not perfect. Guess I can go back to just shit, So I'm just trying to balance it out. But once again, I'm not trying to turn the podcast into just talking about this all the time because I think it does bother people, and I know I feel a way about always talking about my body and shit for other people when it's not really about them. But I'm not trying to shut you down if that's what you want to share.
Yes, and it's something that I want to share. And like I said, you get something from it, you don't. Like whatever you choose to eat, not to eat, your body is your body. I don't have anything to do with that. This is just me sharing my story and me talking about the things that I've personally been experiencing. This is a positive outcome for me.
Anything else?
Mm-mm.
I will add that shout out to the people that are fans of race and racism, race nerds. And I say that because there's so many things that aren't spoken about in blatant racial terms because it's not okay to do that in professional spaces. But as a sports fan, the fact that we're setting up for another race war in the Super Bowl, I'm peeping the game already. Okay, we had race war. We had the first skirmish in the race war this weekend. Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes has become a race war. Now, listen, none of these niggas are gonna admit it. They go on TV, they be giddy as fuck. Josh Allen lost. Just black people smiling, making the same arguments that white people made about Lamar Jackson, and they be so happy to make them, and they be so. And it'd be so good to me because I know the unspoken part is they can't say I'm smiling because I'm black, and the white quarterback that white people love that think is better than the black quarterbacks lost again to the black quarterback. And yes, we are claiming all of Patrick Mahomes. Nice try, my militant blacks that also love race and don't love sports that much.
Right.
It reminds me of like when you get to the Super Bowl this year, the NFC has two white quarterbacks going at it. The AFC has two black quarterbacks going at it. No matter what the outcome is, it's going to be black versus white again in the Super Bowl. And that shit is hilarious to me.
Yeah.
It's only hilarious because they can't say it. It's just, It would be different. Like all the fun would go out of it if everyone would admit what they were doing. White people do this all the time. Yes, and I know it has to be the bane of the existence of, my my black folks that do sports analysis, it's got to be the bane of their existence, because the one thing you can't say is white people are being racist, white people are showing favoritism to a white guy. It's the third rail. It shuts down all conversations. But the equal and opposite is true. They can never tell you as a black person that you're only rooting against this guy because he's white, or you're only rooting for this quarterback because he's black.
I agree.
So then I love watching sports the like day after one of these race bowls, and you get everybody doing the like, you know, like, I'm not touching you, like putting their finger right in your face, but going, I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. And so I feel like that's what this week has been. And I've been really enjoying the race part of sports. And there's a lot of y'all that get involved in this. Mm-hmm. None of y'all, I shouldn't say none, 99% of y'all don't care about Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark is a bad motherfucker. I'll be catching her games sometimes and I'm like, I can't believe this is a fucking person.
She been balling.
But y'all were there to argue about her in that race war last year.
Yes, y'all were. Now y'all don't give a fuck. Number 2 in the country, out here just balling her ass out, breaking all the records and shit. Nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah, like LSU is with Angel Reese is, you know, having some issues, where she ended up like being kind of suspended from the team for a while and all this stuff. South Carolina is still South Carolina and stuff, but you just don't hear a lot. Now, when the March Madness gets here again, if we get another one of these, this white girl dancing on these black people with these threes.
Yeah, she gonna be dancing.
The racism bowl is gonna come right back.
Of course.
It's gonna come right the fuck back. And so I'm looking forward to that experience, because I like
it, but I don't say nothing about this white woman.
Because I remember JL Covan basically being like Steven from Django for her. But I can't wait, because most of these people don't care about the sport. They care about racism.
Right.
And it's just amazing how much racism is a sport in America.
It is.
It really is. There's shit that y'all don't care about. People don't care about. But you find a racial angle, all of a sudden everyone's a fucking expert overnight. You know, because we all know those racist, you know, those hints and those dog whistles, and it don't take long to get in where you fit in. But man, I'd be a liar if I said I actually do really enjoy when they have these conversations and they can't say the truth, because you know that's the freedom of having this podcast. I could just be like, oh no, we like that quarterback because he's black,
right?
You know, like technically, a lot of black people should be rooting for Josh Allen. Because Josh Allen is exactly what, he's exactly in that place that so many black quarterbacks have been. The only difference is white people love that guy. Mm-hmm. They really are like, no, he's better than the black quarterback. He's better than the ones that got Super Bowls. He the best, even though he keeps losing. And if you go, well, what about Lamar Jackson? They're like, the worst. Motherfucker should play running back. And oh, it's the best. Oh, racism. Never stop. Thank you.
Right. Never stop.
Someone asked a question. How's the weightlifting coming along for you? It don't start till, I'm not meeting a personal trainer till Friday. So, all right, let's get into, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, let's say, did you have the article about Clayton and Clark?
No, it's not an article. This is my banter.
No. Remember, she got punched.
That would probably be for Balls Deep.
Oh, okay. Yes, we're talking about down on Balls Deep.
Yeah.
My bad.
All right, let's.
Because I was like, I had something to say about that. We'll talk about that on Thursday behind the paywall. Teaser.
Right. All right, let's get into some other news and stuff. We got other stuff to cover. Let's see. Boom.
Let me see what you want to be. You better move your body. You better move your feet. And I want to groove. Show me what's cool. Riding, carrying, baby. LGBTQ news. We're trying to take us down, but we still around. We legging. I try to still shine, but we on the ride. We lit. Cause you can't do what we're about to do. We lit. Black guy, LGBTQ news.
Trump allowed doctors to deny care to LGBTQ plus patients. Biden just eliminated the possibility. Good. The dangerous rule was blocked by the courts, but Biden just wiped it off the books. So yeah, the rule would allow doctors and other medical professionals to refuse to treat patients for religious reasons. Pregnant women and LGBTQ plus community were targets of the rule. The workers who could claim a religious exemption to do their job included doctors, nurses, pharmacists, billing staff, receptionists, and emergency responders. Now, I think if we're going to say we have inalienable rights to the pursuit of health and wealth and liberty and all this shit, this is definitely against someone's civil rights for you to be a doctor and be like, I'm not going to take care of you because of my religion. And my religion is just against you existing or you know, whatever it is you're doing, you know.
And my thing, I've always had a problem with this. I always. Because your job is the general public. Like, your job is to deal with the masses of people. Like, that's your job. You know, when you quote unquote took your oath with the school and shit, it was like, this is a human body, these is how function, all that shit. All this other shit is irrelevant. Can you do your job or not? And my thing is, okay, it's religious reason. Well, get somebody else in here that can fucking do it. Then.
My thing is, you shouldn't have a job if your religion supersedes your ability to do the job. Then don't have a job, because you're in a situation where you have the Hippocratic oath, like you pledged your services and your expertise to this shit, and then you just turn around and be like, yeah, I don't feel like it. And keep in mind, a lot of this stuff they say religious, but it was religious to them when they were denying interracial marriages. It was religious to them when they were saying black people shouldn't sit in a certain section of it. Like, religion is whatever their bigotry is. So whatever they bigotry believes is what their religion decides to be and morphs into. So yeah, I'm glad the Biden administration struck that shit down. And I would just caution, to me, if the Biden administration can strike it down, the Trump administration can put it right back if they get elected.
Yes,
so
they can.
None of this stuff is written in stone. I would hope that people would have learned that years ago, but I don't know. We'll see if they did.
We will see.
But yeah, let's see. Biden administration also calls out Burundi's president for saying gay people should be stoned to death.
Oh no.
Yeah. Once again, we've talked about this before. In certain African countries, we have a lot of missionaries that are typically white people with a lot of money that go into these countries and they give money and they try to change the rules and get their laws passed that they can't get passed in other countries.
Right.
Because a lot of times the pockets of the people at the top is like lined with this religious money and shit. So yeah, he called homosexuality a curse on the country and said that he wanted to put gay people in the stadium and stone them to death. So the State Department spokesperson Matthew Miller put out a statement. The United States is deeply troubled by President I think this is India Shimiye's remarks targeting certain vulnerable and marginalized Burundians. And you know, once again, a lot of times what we end up doing is kicking these countries out of trade deals. That's what we did with Uganda just like last week or a few weeks ago. And so that may be what has to happen with this too, because one of the only leverages we have is to have, you know, these trade deals.
Right. Cause we like, hey dog, y'all can't be doing this. Like, this is fucked up.
Yeah, it's another reason when people say stuff like, so y'all found money for blank, but not this. A lot of this stuff is using money to try to engender goodwill, that because you're not going to be able to use military might, and you also don't want other countries coming in and influencing shit. But yeah, still nothing you can, you know, at the end of the day, if these countries decide to go rogue and just go, well, at least we're getting this money from the, I don't know, Church of Latter-day Saints or something, ain't really shit we can do.
Nope.
Gay Republican defends the GOP even after conservatives surrounded him and shouted slurs. What? Boy,
that's an oxymoron.
I do not get it.
Me either.
There's nothing.
No sense.
Last night in Phoenix, I was confronted, surrounded by some white supremacists that don't like gays or blacks in the Republican Party. They shouted the N-word and the F-word at me to make their point. However, I served in Iraq. I never backed down, ever.
Yes, next one says love gay sex.
These people are all on camera, by the way. You can see all their faces, nothing's blurred out. They're surrounding the guy.
Right.
And at the same time, this dude is still voting for Trump. He's still Republican. He's still going to their events.
Mm-hmm. They are out there.
What is this? Mental illness, a cult? And then to think that, you know, somebody would go on the air and be like, y'all just voting for Massa Biden or whatever the fuck. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to events getting called the N-word and the F-word. Show me what they've done to earn my vote over there.
Right.
Show me how am I
laws and policies they pass that I fucking benefit from.
I'm getting off the Democratic plantation for the people saying the N-word. I'm trying to understand. So I'm going from the Democratic plantation to just the regular plantation, just back to plantation. Smith appeared on CNN Newsnight this week to discuss the incident, and he insisted that the people chanting him weren't representative of Trump supporters.
Whatever.
Instead, they were actual neo-Nazis and actual white supremacists. There were about 20 to 25 of them.
Yeah, and I saw they probably support Trump. The fuck we talking about here?
Y'all all at the same event, fam.
Right.
Y'all all lining up for the same guy. Mm-hmm. He said that he has always been accepted by Republicans as a gay man, as a black man. I had no idea that this really even existed out there until I was confronted with this type of racial
The
hatred.
lies, the lie. I don't believe you.
Right. Oh, man. It's disheartening, but it's like, are you really programmed like that? And normally, you know, my heart goes out to anyone being discriminated against, but at the same time,
I'm supposed to feel sorry for that bitch. I don't.
Like,
you
went out and defended it.
Whooping.
Well, it's not like you had a wake-up call.
Right.
You went out there and defended it. Like, oh no, those people don't really count as Trump voters. Those are Trump voters. You don't have to feel like they're the majority of them, but they are, though they count.
Yes, they do.
He says if you want to have host Abby Phillip stopped him and asked him if he really had no idea there was a faction of the Republican Party that espouses racist and anti-LGBTQ views. Fam, it's party platform for y'all. Mm-hmm. Ron DeSantis runs on this.
Yes, he does.
What do you think woke means and being anti-woke? And what do you think CRT is and being anti-CRT? What do you think these book bannings are?
Right.
He said, if we want to have a conversation about white supremacy, let's have a conversation about the white supremacy that happens on both sides, okay? He responded defensively after correcting Phillip by saying she uses gay and lesbian and not LGBT. He then said that every single day on social media, the left attacks him for being black. He didn't mention any specific examples. I'm sure they do. Calling him a coon.
You're goddamn right. They like, look, what the fuck is this, nigga?
Yeah, I'm sure they do hit him with that all the time.
Coons will be coons. What do you want me to say?
And it's probably because you go out and defend the same people that, you know, talk about you like this.
Yes.
And you vote alongside them.
Right.
We don't have these clips floating around in any Democratic circles of like, yeah, man, they was circling this black dude to call him the N-word and the F-word. And anyway, go Biden. Like, there's a difference in the parties. It's okay to admit that.
Right.
Let's see what else happened. Oklahoma has hired the libs of TikTok, Shia Reichik, to help censor public school books. The state's education chief says Reichik will make schools safer for kids, even though her posts have inspired bomb threats at local schools. Yes, so libs of TikTok is a woman who doxes people. She's been doxed herself. She will like say something happened, whether it's true or not, about certain like school districts and accuse people of stuff. And then the people that follow her are such rabid followers of her social media account that they have been known to do. This led to multiple bomb threats, death threats against schools, teachers, students, and children's hospitals, including 2 Oklahoma schools. But now Ryan Walters, the right-wing superintendent of the Oklahoma State Department of Education, has appointed her to the Library Media Advisory Committee.
Jakara's houseway, bitch. What? As fucking much as teachers are underpaid, bus drivers are underpaid. You lost a bunch of people for COVID. Like, the school system is fucking underfunded, and you put somebody that's not goddamn qualified, that doesn't have a fucking degree and know what the fuck they're doing, that's actually going to stop fucking chaos in your whole goddamn school system. This shit don't make no motherfucking sense.
And they have their own reality there. We are so divided on social media and in real life. They have their own set of facts, and so she's a hero to the right. She's like a person they hold in high esteem. Shia is on the front line showing the world exactly what the radical left is all about: lowering standards, pouring in schools, and pushing woke indoctrination on our kids. Because of her work, families across the country know just what is going on in schools around the country. Her unique perspective is an invaluable part of my plan to make Oklahoma schools safer for kids and friendly to parents.
And I guess my thing was to fuck up. How is this even allowed? How can a school board person just be like, hey, you unqualified person, come here and do a job? I guarantee you it's somebody in there that can do the job and do the job right.
It's because people vote, and then the people you vote in can appoint people to certain things. They probably always appointed people, but a lot of these are not rules. They're not written down. The appointments are not, necessarily voted on. And so in the past, because people took the job seriously, and because people that got voted in were qualified to a certain extent, or I shouldn't even say in the past. That's not true. Sometimes people will just take it seriously and appoint somebody that will do the job. And sometimes you have shit like this. And we've, if you study the history of America, this has happened before, and it will happen again. And it's the danger of checking out of the voting system. It's the danger of white people and their need to have their feelings validated as if they're factuals. So, hey, my feelings are hurt. My kids' feelings may be hurt if you guys talk about history as it actually happened. So because of all that, we're going to cover it up with lies. We're going to empower this TikToker to decide who and what gets published in our school system.
And I think this was frustrating me the most out of it. And it's very frustrating because everybody in your school system isn't white. So you have a lot of black
or straight,
right?
Yeah.
Black, brown, Latinos, LGBTQ, trans, all these different people in because your school system is humongous, probably. And so you have all these different people in your school system, and you're going, we're not even going to represent you. We actually don't care anything about you. And so, you may have a small subsection of parents and students that's like, the fuck is this? But they're going to ignore the fuck out of them and keep on passing these fucked up rules.
Yep. Last October, her post accusing a Western Heights public school principal of being a drag performer and various Oklahoma schools of having pornographic library books resulted in bomb threats against the schools. In August 2023, Walters came under criticism for reposting a video of Righteous that resulted in bomb threats against Ellen Ochoa Elementary School in Tulsa. Righteous has claimed that she is merely sharing information and can't control how social media followers respond to her post.
Fuck you, bitch. Fuck you. This right here just makes me mad because it's one of them things where I'm looking like, you know what? I don't know if they can, but I'll fucking sue her.
She's been sued before.
Yes.
However, her account regularly echoes right-wing claims of LGBTQ plus people and allies, indoctrinating, grooming, and sexualizing kids, rhetoric that leads to violence against queer people and their allies. Her bio on X proudly touts her being labeled as a stochastic terrorist, a person who uses mass media to provoke random acts of ideology-motivated violence. Anything that will get Walters likes and shares on Fox News and Newsmax, that's what he's going to do. Western Heights parent Amy Boone told the newspaper. This they are empowering the dangerous people.
Yes, they are.
This is a very real thing, and it's gonna lead to somebody getting hurt.
Mm-hmm. And then they're gonna claim any responsibility. Everybody gonna be a fucking lone wolf, even though you stoked the fires. And this is one reason why we tell people, everybody talk about the big elections. Your fucking local elections matter to who you put on the school boards, who appoint these superintendents. This the shit that fucking matters.
Yeah, that's what the Republicans figured out, is the off-cycle elections and the local elections. The people that talk all that noise don't pay attention to them.
No, they don't.
You can go look at my voting history. We talk about voting a lot on this show. But you look at my voting history, I fucking vote. I be voting in all them fucking local elections, primaries, all the shit.
It's been times where it be more poll workers than me and Roger. Be 25 of them. It'd be me and Roger all the people in there going through the whole process.
And the only reason I point this out is because a lot of people online will do this thing, and I'm just calling them liars. I don't believe them, but they'll do this thing where they say whenever it's a presidential election, they'll talk about how, well, I don't vote. I'm not voting for the president. I only vote local, and that is just because I say I'm not voting for the president race doesn't mean that I don't participate. Da da da. And it's a lie because the numbers show y'all don't.
Then
Like you don't participate. If you don't vote, you just don't vote. That's
Right.
just pretty much it. And the ones that do vote every 4 years, even they don't vote every election. So there's a handful of us that vote all the time. And it's because I'm scared of shit like this. I went and looked up all my fucking local school people before we went to vote, because I was like, some of these motherfuckers will slip through because you're just not paying attention.
Yes. It's also one of those things too when it comes to like the local elections, particularly the off-cycle elections. You almost have to be very diligent about it and actually just keep up on it and pay attention to the flyers and shit, because a lot of times they'll change the dates, they'll move shit around, like they'll do things like that where if you're not on top of it, even if you are somebody that follows it, you have to be very, and they purposely rearrange shit on purpose, change times. Like me and Roger know a lot of the laws and shit that a lot of people might not know because they don't keep up with that shit. They voted for years. Walk in there, they're like, "Can you have your ID?" What you mean? I need to show my ID because bitch, you ain't been paying attention.
A demographic tsunami is coming for the ballot box as more Gen Zers identify as non-white and LGBTQ plus. A recent survey from the Public Religion Research Institute has found that 28% of Gen Z adults identify as LGBTQ plus, a massive leap from the 16% of millennials and 7% of Gen X and 4% of baby boomers and 4% of the silent generation that identify as such. The comprehensive study also found that 21% of Gen Z adults identify as Republican and 27% identify as white Christians, making Gen Z more queer than Republican or white Christian. It's over for white Christian male hegemony in the United States and time for an egalitarian and equitable society, said Harvard Law Cyber Law Clinic instructor Alejandra Caraballo on X. Caraballo also celebrated what she called the demographic tsunami heading for American politics, sharing a graphic from the survey that shows growing numbers of non-white Americans in addition to growing numbers of those who identify as LGBTQ plus. Yeah, I think there's something to this, obviously. I think a lot of this is basically about literally representation and the changing climate of some of our media that allows people to openly say they're gay, or at least be introspective enough to explore that within themselves, that they can answer that on the survey. Because just because you answer it on a survey doesn't necessarily mean that you're like out to everybody and all this stuff.
Agreed.
But it's also one of the things I always try to kind of parse out when Republicans say it as a dog whistle for their homophobia of like, you're gonna make my kids gay when you show them gay stuff on YouTube and stuff. And I'm like, no, but they are gonna let the gay kids know that they can stop hiding it and that there's a life outside of just your house and your parents, and that you don't need to be ashamed, and that there's people that are happy, there's people that have found love, there are people that create, there are people that are three-dimensional human beings that get to craft their own narrative and their own story, and they exist, and it's possible for you too. And that might be enough for your child to go, I'm not listening to you. I do want to live my full free life, and it might be outside of your house, but there's hope for me one day to get the fuck out of your house and live my life. And I think Republicans are so scared. A lot of this stuff, I know it doesn't feel like it to people, and I understand we're fearful and we're in fearful times, but there's part of me, and I hope I'm right, maybe I'll be wrong, but there's part of me that feels like these are the death throes. Some of the stuff that they're doing right now with the numbers they have, the only way they can win is to do the shit they're doing.
Yes.
And they've been and they lost with it last time, but their last hope is to just say, well, if we deny that we lost, then we won't really lose. Then we can't lose if we just want to admit we're losing. But all that being said, of course, younger generation is really affected by the social media and by the the stuff like what's going on in Palestine and stuff like that. So I don't know that this necessarily means what she says when it's like it's coming for the voting booth. Maybe, but also maybe these people will be like, I'm not participating in this system because I'm young. I feel like I got my whole life ahead of me.
Yeah,
I feel like it's more important to kind of represent myself as an individual than to, feel than to feel like it's my job to civically participate and mitigate the harm of America. I don't know that these kids necessarily believe that, but it is nice to see people feeling free to identify more outside of the spectrum of just white, heterosexual, all that shit.
I agree, and studies and statistics have shown young people don't vote. They just don't. They have other shit to do. They're trying to live their lives. They don't realize the importance of it. They don't realize how much these laws impact them until they get quote unquote older. And society has kind of trained young people to think like that. If people actually push, hey, this is a civic duty. This is something you have to do. Like this shit is important. The laws and shit that are passed now, that you yada yada yada, and you go do some shit, you go, oh, I didn't know I couldn't do that because that law got passed. Like that's the shit that matters. And if young people actually put a mandate and actually really consistently came out to the polls, people and politicians would cater towards them. But most of them ignore the fuck out of young people because they know this is not worth their money, and young people don't vote in mass. Not that they don't vote at all. I've voted since I've been 18, but most young people do not vote.
Yeah, I don't know if it's most or whatever, but yeah, there's a large percentage that do not vote, and I think less are planning to vote this year. They did also in this poll, 57% of Americans between the age of 18 to 29 said they plan to vote in 2020. 2024, 49%. So that's 8% less. Now, who knows if that really counts? What the exit polls look like in those numbers. I don't know. But yeah, it's just kind of interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, and also I say that, but then I'm gonna say this. I hope that a lot of them are paying more attention to the things that are happening around them. Like people upset about Palestine and shit like that. Great, but you're gonna have to vote. You sitting around and complaining is not gonna mean a motherfucking thing.
Yeah, I mean vote. That. I don't know if that's true. Because if they're complaining about Palestine right now and they feel like Joe Biden's not getting it done, then you're saying, yeah, you're going to have to vote for who? Joe Biden. So they're not, I think that logic isn't working for them. I'm not saying I'm not saying that I agree with their logic, but it's their rhetorical answer is like, well, then I shouldn't even vote. I would just say there's more on the ballot than just that.
Yes.
Roe v. Wade is still on the ballot. That shit is real.
That's that bigger picture thought.
All this section that we talk about every time we're talking about this, a lot of Republicans passing these draconian laws discriminating and targeting LGBTQ people, and they don't give a fuck. They stand in line and they're monolithic. They say, okay, you want to appoint a woman from TikTok to ban the books and be a bigot? Cool. We're not about to quibble over the shit.
No.
And that's the difference between them and us.
Yeah, that's also, yes, you can be a when it comes to voting, you have to vote on multiple things. And, there are some people that are truly one issue voters. And sometimes that could be a detriment because anything outside of your one issue, you don't give a fuck about, but it's more on the ballot than your one issue.
Yeah, I think also, I don't know how to express this I'm not trying to piss people off, but I'm trying to be pragmatic and realistic about the approach. There's something to the fact that this one issue for people is not necessarily their issue, but they are hinging everything on this issue. And I feel like a lot of that is the power of social media.
Agreed.
Like it is the power, the peer pressure of it. It's, I forget, I think it was On the Media I listened to. This is a months old podcast. There's no way I know the name of it and to direct y'all exactly to the episode. Mm-hmm. But it had this episode about how people were using social media to basically mark their place of where they stand in this conflict. And, whether it be a free Palestine or stop Jewish hate or whatever you were saying at the time, there was something about how people were almost putting out press releases as individuals. Like you're just a person.
Right.
You don't really affect much. There's not really anything that your social media post is going to change. It's more about identifying with other people and letting them find their like common cause and be like, we all agree, or finding the people you don't agree with and arguing with them, you know, if that's what you want to do. But the point was like the professionalism and the length of the statements and the way it was, it's like we're all participating in something. I felt the same, and for the record, this is not just a Palestine thing. I felt the same way during like Black Lives Matter and George Floyd. And people used to pick on the white folks that will put up like a black square or a statement about how Black Lives Matter to them. And there's like a production to it. It's very performative by its nature. Social media is performative by nature. It can't not be performative.
Agreed.
We are performing something every time we hit send, post, or whatever. And so it just seems like some of this stuff is hard to separate from like what's the wave, and it's just like this what we talking about now and what's not. But I know that the younger people are definitely affected by that stuff, and I don't know that there's ever going to be something that translates from real life to social media in a nuanced way, because social media does not reward a lot of nuance. It mostly rewards flat takes that are black and white. And so I think that's what a lot of this has come down to when it comes to that. And unfortunately, that may lead to some people not voting because they're just like, well, I don't want to have talked all this shit on social media and then go and vote for this shit after everyone's been patting me on my back for saying I'm not going to vote and I'm not going to do anything. And I've been telling them there's no reason they can give me that'll change my mind. Right. And I think some of them are telling the truth, and that's what's going to happen for them. And then I will wonder how many of them there will be, and then I will wonder what they look like if Trump wins or something. Because honestly, I'm at a point where I'm not gonna want to hear shit. I'm not even trying to be funny about it. It's just
I don't want to hear anything.
Everyone knows what's on the table. It's one of the reasons I feel so much peace about this election cycle. There's no conflict for me.
Nope.
I know exactly what is on the table. I know exactly what everybody stands for. I know exactly what's going to happen if Trump wins. Yes. I know exactly what's going to happen if Biden wins. And it's pretty easy to me to be like, well, I'm resolute. I know how. And so when we cover these articles and stuff, man, it's so obvious that you can't divorce voting and politics from it, because so much of this is rooted in, those people taking office and passing laws that you can't just wish away.
Right. It has to be action behind it. And like you say, I agree. I'm not going to want to hear a motherfucking thing. And maybe this is just me being mean and harsh. I don't care about your fucking tears. I don't care about you crying. I don't care about the shock or dismay. I'm gonna be like, I don't care. People told you thought it was a game, you thought it was a joke, you didn't take people seriously, and now you want to act shocked and surprised. And the thing is, it's fucking round 2, and round 2 is gonna be much worse than round 1. The fuck is this?
All right, let's move into some other stuff. Let's just do some other news. Jon Stewart is returning to The Daily Show as a host, but only on Mondays. And the other correspondents will, I guess, host other days of the week. But he's also supposed to executive produce it all the way through the 2024 U.S. election cycle.
What's they doing over there? This is wild.
Yeah, I think they wanted to make a splash since they kind of fumbled the whole thing with Roy. And Jon Stewart is a big name and a big splash, and him returning is a big deal. But Jon Stewart already has his own show.
Yes, he does.
Which I don't know if it got canceled or something, but he kind of had a show. I think people will tune in and watch some of this. he left because he said he was tired of covering all the elections and stuff. That was in 2015. He was like covering through 3 election like things have just is too much.
Out.
But I guess maybe he feels back, feels rejuvenated, or it's an important moment.
I can see that.
And yeah, I guess we'll see if this works or whatever. I'm not even gonna lie, man. I was one of the few people that watched the Daily Show religiously, and partially because I had to go to New York and I didn't have access to my like DVR and all that shit, and I wasn't sitting at home, so I've lost. I just kind of fell off of watching the show, especially once they started doing that rotating host bullshit,
right?
And so yeah, I this is the kind of thing that I could see the clips going viral on Twitter or something, and then maybe tune in every once in a while. Because right now they lost all the heat. Like they shit don't never go viral no more. It's just like
because you don't have a dedicated host.
Yeah, it's just such a bad look. But yeah, maybe I'm not mad at Jon Stewart or so upset about the show or whatever. It's just more of a like, I guess we'll see what happens with this, But yeah, only Mondays.
Part-time?
Yeah, just only Mondays. It's such a weird decision.
He's like, the rest of the week I want to do my own shit.
Yeah, it sounds like they couldn't get him to do it full time.
Agreed.
And they settled for that.
Yes, because he was like, no, I'm not doing this full time.
A flight to New York City on Virgin Atlantic had to get canceled because a passenger spotted missing bolts on the plane wing.
What?
Right. And of course, I had the same thought you thought, Karen, when you first saw it. Where are the black people that did this? Where are the bolts, blackies?
Where the black crew?
I know it was y'all. Was you smoking Newports?
You know it was the darkest.
What'd you have, a fried chicken sandwich to get to? You said, oh, I got to go stand in line at Popeyes. I don't have time for these last 4 bolts.
Too busy eating that flounder sandwich.
A white man would have did it right. Thank God that they were able to see it. So yeah, they looked out the window and saw the plane bolts was missing. So they had to cancel the flight.
Glad they caught it for that shit guy now.
Engineers were swiftly dispatched to conduct maintenance checks on the Airbus A330 aircraft scheduled to take off at John F. Kennedy International in New York City. Despite reassurances from airline staff, Hardy remained concerned about the wing's safety, citing a recent incident for the Alaska Airlines plane. The flight was canceled to provide time for precautionary additional engineering maintenance checks, which allowed our team the maximum time to complete their inspections. The safety of our customers and crew is always top for our, because at that point, once somebody's noticed it, you can't put it in the air. Because motherfuckers gonna be like, the last tweet this man had before the plane blew up was, 4 bolts is missing.
Why did he die? You getting sued.
Right. And then they got to go find the black people that clearly did that shoddy workmanship, okay? We all know white people are always the most complete workers. They work the hardest. That's why they were the people that did all the field work during slavery. They say, you can't trust this to a black. Each of those panels has 119 fasteners, so there was no impact on the structural integrity or load capability of the wing. The aircraft was safe to operate, said Neil Forth, the Airbus local chief wing engineer for A330.
Don't nobody want to hear that bullshit. Bolts is missing. What are we talking about here? They're supposed to be there and they ain't.
Right. If it's no big deal, why the bolts ain't in there?
Right.
Then put the bolts in. Put some duct tape on it or something. Come on now.
Right. It's like, we can fix it with the fixer flat. No, bitch, we're in the air. No, we're not doing this.
Ring will no longer allow police to request doorbell camera footage from users. Amazon-owned Ring will stop allowing police departments to request doorbell camera footage from users, marking an end to a feature that has drawn criticism from privacy advocates. They said it will sunset the request for assistance tool, which allows police departments and other public safety agencies to request and receive video captured by the doorbell cameras through a Ring's Neighbor app. The company did not provide a reason for the change, which will be effective starting this week.
They got sued. Something happened.
Well, a lot of people have been against this. D-Palm's one of these people that's against it. He's like, you shouldn't even have a Ring doorbell because you're helping the cops. And my answer to that is, nigga, don't you own guns? Shut the hell up. Like, get out of here. Don't you have some people to shoot or something? But yeah, police and other agencies can also still use the app to share helpful safety tips, updates, and community events. I think that's fine. So they can make a public post like, hey, I see those all the time where it's like, blow out your candles before you go to sleep or whatever. The update is the latest restriction Ring has made to police activity on the Neighbors app following concerns raised by privacy watchdogs about the company's relationship with police departments across the country. Critics have stressed the proliferation of these relationships and users' ability to report what they see as suspicious behavior can change neighborhoods into a place of constant surveillance and lead to more instances of racial profiling. Absolutely. Like, I'll be looking at them post on the Neighbors app.
That'd be some bullshit.
Half of the post is just honestly racism.
Yes, just white folks scared.
It's like suspicious grown man walking down the street, and then you click on the video and it's a little kid licking a lollipop, skipping, and you're like, this is just racism. If this kid wasn't black, you'd be like, oh, kid's having fun in my front yard.
Right.
It's like a motherfucker comes up with an Amazon vest on and a package, and you're like, should I report this to the police? I believe this person is stealing packages, putting on Amazon stuff, driving an Amazon vehicle, and leaving the suspicious boxes on my doorstep, coincidentally on the day that my packages were supposed to arrive from Amazon. And I think we need to look into this. Police, can I get some help?
That's all them supposed to be.
Yeah. H&M withdraws Australian school uniform ad amid accusations of promoting pedophilia. This is like the second or third time they've been accused of that.
Here?
Like the second
is
or third
it the
time.
way the uniform is like?
I'm not gonna lie. I looked at the picture. I couldn't tell what the thing is, but I'm also not in this stuff, so I don't know. So this is the ad. $29.99 dress. H&M is two kids in school dresses. It says, make those heads turn in H&M's back to school fashion.
That's the whole ad.
And this person said, what is your intention with this sponsored Facebook ad? Little schoolgirls generally don't want to turn heads. The large numbers I engage with in school want to be left alone to learn and have fun.
Lord, you don't have any. This is online bullshit. The fuck we talking about here?
Yeah, I don't know. The company said the ad has been removed. We're deeply sorry for the offense this has caused, and we'll look into how we represent campaigns going forward. Yeah, I know they license out some of these advertising campaigns and stuff. And once again, that a while ago they had that happen, and they had like a person that really had some weird pedophile shit in the background of the picture. But that one, I missed it if it's in there. And I guess it's just I don't run in the pedophile circle, so I wouldn't know.
I don't know.
And I didn't see anything sexual about those little girls.
Right.
I guess to that person there was, but they took it down. Maybe they just don't want the smoke though. Like it might not have took it down because they thought they were wrong. They might have took it down because it's just like, no, last time the shit got out of control. Americans' economic outlook brightens as inflation slows and wages outpace prices.
Yay.
After an extended period of gloom, Americans are starting to feel better about inflation in the economy, a trend that could sustain consumer spending, fuel economic growth, and potentially affect President Joe Biden's political fortunes. A measure of consumer sentiment by the University of Michigan has jumped in the past 2 months by the most since 1991. A survey by the Federal Reserve Bank of New York found that Americans' inflation expectations have reached their lowest point in nearly 3 years. And the same survey released last week found that the proportion who expect their own finances to improve in a year from now is at its highest level since June 2021.
That's good.
Economists say consumers appear to be responding to the steadily slower inflation, higher incomes, lower gas prices, and a rising stock market. Inflation has tumbled from a peak of around 9% in June 2022 to 3.4%, according to the Federal Reserve's preferred price gauge. Inflation has reached the Fed annual's 2% target when measured over the past 6 months. That explains the $2.99 chicken wings.
That, and also, other countries have been dealing with inflation too, not just America.
Right.
And so, we've been not trying funny, handling it very well. compared to other parts of the world.
What's more, paychecks have outpaced inflation over the past year, thereby easing Americans' adjustment to a higher cost of living. Weekly earnings for the typical worker halfway through the highest and lowest earners rose 2.2% last year after adjusting for inflation, the government reported last week. By that measure, inflation-adjusted pay is 2.5% higher than before the pandemic.
Well, let's go.
Yeah, I mean, and that's just interesting because so much of this is about feelings, and that's how we measure the economy, normally not with like actual measurables, but just like how do people feel about it, which makes it kind of tough to gauge what's real and what's not.
Right. They said they did a survey and they were saying that they asked people the same question 2 different ways. They asked you, how do you feel about like the economy? How do you feel financially about the economy? It was terrible. Then they were like, how do you individually, like you as a person, feel about, your finances? That's great. And people was like, yeah, it's a huge disconnect here. Like these 2 things actually go hand in hand. But when people think of the quote unquote economy as a whole, is doom and gloom, the sky is falling, when they was like, in reality, that's not true. When you ask them about their own individual finances.
I'm just finding it interesting because, like I said, it's a feelings thing for people, and I know online there's so much pessimism that I don't know that you can even divorce. Like, I don't even know how realistic to measure stuff online is. Like I said, I saw somebody pointing out that like, oh, this sandwich from McDonald's costs $3, and a McChicken used to be $1, and it's like, okay, like things are gonna go up, and it used to be 50 cents, and before that a nickel. Like, shit is gonna go up in our lifetime, but if your wages go up, then that's good. But once again, you can always kind of anecdotally make your feelings more important than facts. So you can be like, well, it don't matter what the facts say. I feel like this, or my situation is like blank, or as you said, my situation is good, but what about these other people? I don't know. They could be having a bad one. So, let's see what else we got here. What else I want to talk about? Oh, I know. Let's do some election news.
Okay.
Proud Boys member sentenced to 6 years in prison for Capitol riot role after berating judge.
Lock them up.
Berating a judge is a choice.
Yes, it is. Y'all better quit fucking with these judges.
this thing where they be like, like, I'm gonna talk my shit. It's like, okay. He told the judge, you can give me 100 years and I do it all over again. His name is Mark Brew, BRU. He repeatedly interrupted Chief Judge James Boasberg before he handed down a sentence, calling him a clown and a fraud and presiding over a kangaroo court.
Yeah, they mimicking Trump.
That's the definition of no remorse in my book, the judge said.
Yep.
He's described as one of the least remorseful rioters who assaulted the Capitol on January 6th. They say Brew planned for an armed insurrection on January 6 2.0 attack to take over the government in Portland, Oregon, several weeks after the deadly riot in Washington, D.C. He wanted a repeat of January 6, only he implied this time would be more violent. He was representing himself with an attorney on standby. He has spewed anti-government.
What the fuck you have no standby for? You represent yourself?
I think they force you to, basically.
Oh, okay. They were like, I don't know what you here for, I guess.
Because a lot of times when people do shit like this, they then later go, I want a mistrial. I shouldn't have been allowed to represent myself. I need a real lawyer. And so they force a lawyer to be in there to be like, this motherfucker doesn't know the law, and here's what they can and can't say.
Right.
And someone needs to tell them.
Mm-hmm.
He has spewed anti-government rhetoric that appears to be inspired by the sovereign citizen movement. At the start of the hearing, Brew demanded that the judge and the prosecutor turn over 5 years of their financial records. The judge gave him a 10-minute break to confer with a standby lawyer before the hearing resumed with more interruptions. I don't accept any of your terms and conditions. You're a clown and not a judge.
It don't matter what you accept. The reality is, bitch, you're going to jail.
Right. He told supporters of the detained January 6th defendants that he would try to put on a good show at his sentencing. Boasberg convicted Brewer of seven charges, including 2 felonies, after hearing trial testimony without a jury in October. Prosecutors recommended a prison sentence of 7 years and 3 months. Brewer appears to have envisioned and had been planning for a true armed insurrection, and from his post-conviction comments, he appeared only to have become further radicalized and angry since then. So yeah, apparently he got 6 years for this. Crazy. He spent 13 minutes in the building. 6 years for 13 minutes.
But
he, of course,
speedy ass trial. It was like, okay, you finished. All right, 6 years. Get out my courtroom. Next.
He also posed for selfie, making a hand gesture with the Proud Boys. They got all the evidence is right there. So yeah. Let's see what else we got here. Kari Lake. Remember her? She's the woman that looked like she a black person will shake out of her family tree. Kari Lake she's also a Republican she was one election denier person that ran on the idea of like, I will run, and if I lose, it's rigged. And if I win, of course, it's real. It's not fake at all.
Right.
But if I lose, it's obviously fake. And then like refuse to concede, even though she clearly lost, and everybody threw her shit out. Anyway, she is now calling on the Arizona GOP chair to resign after reports of leaked audio. Now, what's interesting here is in this leaked audio, she's on the audio, so she was aware of these comments. I don't know if she was aware of the recording, but she was aware of the comments because she was on the phone. She says he's got to resign. We can't have somebody who is corrupt and compromised running the Republican Party. Now, in this recording, the chair, Jeff DeWitt, appeared to be offering her money in exchange for her not running for office. There are very powerful people who want to keep you out. DeWitt reportedly told Lake in the recording, saying only that these figures were from the East. Just saying, is there a number at which she cut him off? I can be bought. That's what this is about. And he said, you can take a pause for a couple years. You can go right back to what you're doing. She said she would not accept $1 billion to lead the Senate race. Neither Lake or DeWitt responded to a request for comment. So, and of course, these motherfuckers always doing the corrupt shit that they claim somebody else doing.
Yes, they always be the ones getting caught. People voting twice, and a Republican man gets arrested for voting twice. You know, you pass all these laws, then you get locked up for the law that you just passed.
There's dark money in there's dark money in this and all this shit. And you're like, is it though? Like, is that what the problem is?
Right.
Oh my God. North Carolina man charged in January 6th riot on the DC Capitol says charges against him are overkill. I went up there to support our country and whoop somebody's ass from Antifa. The 46-year-old Terrell man told the Charlotte Observer in an exclusive interview on Friday, we have to protect the people. His name is Lee Stutz.
Well, Lee Stutz, if they get you, go on to jail.
Yeah. I wore a helmet and had my fist. I roughhoused a little bit, but I didn't punch them. None of that. He said, referring to the assaults against law enforcement officers on the Capitol. Like, it's a little roughhousing. Push them around a little bit. A
building y'all wasn't supposed to be in.
Little horseplay, Karen. You can't horseplay with the cops during the insurrection.
No, you can't.
He was arrested and charged in November. Is free pending the outcome of his case. So we'll see what happens to him. But yeah, he said y'all overreacting. Calm down. What y'all so mad about? Little insurrection? That's it?
Just a little bit, just a pinch of insurrection.
Mike Lindell says Fox News canceled My Pillow after network pulls his ads. And this is clearly because he's a guy that keeps peddling election fraud lies. And of course, Fox is scared because they lost that
lawsuit. They was like,
I think they settled, right? Like they were gonna lose, and then they settled, right?
Something like that.
So they know that they agreed to not have that kind of shit around the network, and so they pulled his ads because this motherfucker is empowered,
and he lost a lot of money because he was fucking at one period of time. He was literally everywhere.
What a fucking kook! That nigga sold pillows. I feel like we're losing sight of. These are the nut jobs Trump has brought to our lives. But this nigga sold pillows for a living and then suddenly was like, I'm a expert on elections. And these elections were stolen because I say so. Anyway, buy pillows from me. What a fucking nutbag.
Right.
You just let that happen.
Yes, they did.
All right. Let's move out of this, okay? Let's move into a different segment. How about where are we at? 105. Give y'all about another segment. Let me see. How about some guess the race?
This time for guess the race. This time for guess the race. This time for guess the race. This time for guess the race.
All right. A Las Vegas police officer set to go to trial over $165,000 stolen in 3 casino heists.
3?
Mm-hmm. If you're going to do them, do 3 of them. That's what I always say.
Yeah, he Ocean 11. What the hell is this?
I always say heists come in 3s. It's like celebrity deaths. You know, you don't rob a casino. You rob 3. Okay, complete the set. They're all on the same strip. It's not even. You're lazy if you don't do it.
Trilogy.
Yeah, you're lazy if you don't do it.
This former Metro police officer on trial right now accused of carrying out 3 casino heists in the space of 4 months. Prosecutors say 35-year-old Caleb Rogers stole nearly $165,000 from strip casinos using his service weapon. We have some video of a court appearance he made back in March. Prosecutors say he is a gambling addict who committed the crimes to get out of debt. That trial expected to last until at least the end of the week. Brian?
I hope he really got out of debt and didn't fuck around.
Not his service weapon.
Right. The gun that they give him.
Right. Damn.
Right. Somebody be like, ain't that a police gun?
Did he pull his gun out and go, freeze?
Right.
You got the right to. Oh, wait. No, you don't. No, you don't. I'm sorry. Just give me the money. Karen,
I don't care about you remaining silent.
Right.
White.
Karen says white for Caleb Rogers. Let's check the chat room, see what they believe. Seeing his story is just sad and not cool. That's not a race. Blue Lives Matter, white. Yeah, he had some shades and a suit. 7-Eleven craps, white. He had a racially diverse crew of people he robbed it with. Fake white training day, Andy Garcia Latino. The correct answer is white. Karen, you got it right.
Yay!
I'm not gonna boo you, the person that said Andy Garcia Latino, because that was kind of you hedging your bet, because Andy Garcia definitely could pass for white. So
I can see
I'm not saying he is white, but I'm just saying he's taking on some roles that were not Latino, if you know what I'm saying. And shout out to him and his agent. Look at him, those good gigs.
Come on, good gigs.
All right, let's go to the next one. Let's see. Wait, I know I've covered some of these before. What the fuck? All right, South Decatur teacher charged with stalking sent 600 text messages to a student.
600?
Right?
I don't even think I got that in my phone. I've been saving my phone for years. I ain't got no 600 text messages.
I'll definitely have 600 text messages. But the South Decatur high school teacher has been charged with stalking and sending a 15-year-old student more than 600 text messages, which included lewd and smutty jokes and memes. The teacher allegedly even showed up to one of the students' baseball games that he quit responding to her messages. Wow. Not a teacher showing up. You just you not gonna text me back?
Your phone, bing, bing. Why do you always?
What is your teacher doing here at the game?
I know.
Holding a boom box over her head, wearing a trench coat.
They always be like, man, you don't never have your phone on anymore. You always have it turned off.
It doesn't make, this is crazy.
Yes, it is.
Paige Simon, 28, of Osgood, was arrested on Friday. She's charged with stalking and official misconduct, both level 6 felonies, along with misdemeanor charge of battery. Also, she physically assaulted somebody. So the investigation into her began April 18th after reports of possible inappropriate behavior between the teacher and the student. In addition to sending hundreds of text messages to the student between February and April, Simon allegedly had sexually related conversations with the juvenile and another student while in the classroom. Simon reportedly told students about her sex toys and how she uses them to pleasure herself. A teacher reported that Simon let the students call her derogatory names that were sexual in nature, including kids referring to her as a cum dumpster.
Oh no!
Police reviewed 600 plus text messages sent between the juvenile and Simon and noted many of them were jokes and memes.
Is the teacher gonna come out and say they're gonna have an OnlyFans? This is how you crack the case and let us know that's what you're really trying to do?
The student also reportedly told the police that Simon would frequently touch his arm or shoulder, and one occasion ran her fingers through his hair. The school was also informed of an incident where Simon tried to take the student's phone and reached towards his crotch with her hand lingering in the area. Police said the student quit responding to the messages, but she kept messaging him vulgar jokes anyway. Simon also reportedly showed up to one juvenile's baseball game, one of his games, after he had blocked her number. She was reportedly found crying on at least 2 occasions by another teacher. Well, that's awkward. It's like, what's going on? No, he won't call me back. Oh no, your husband or your boyfriend? No, this kid from 3rd period, man. What the fuck? What did I do wrong? Simon has allegedly been upset that the student was no longer interacting with her and feared she'd done something to make him mad at her.
You're an adult. They might want somebody their age.
The school says she resigned from her position 3 weeks ago. Karen, guess the race.
Why, you resigned. I didn't fire you.
Let's check the chat room and see what they...
That makes sense.
She thought she was looking at an H&M ad. She was like, clearly he was trying to turn heads with his outfit.
Right?
Mary
had them baseball stripes on. That's his fault.
Mary Kay Letourneau, take your nasty ass to jail. White, baseball white, panini pressed ass white woman who needs to be put under the jail. Definitely a white. Teacher was watching way too much hentai white. White as the cum in her dumpster.
Oh no!
Shay.
Oh no!
Blue eyes, white devil woman creeping on kids. White as fuck. Lowered expectations. White. The correct answer is white. So like you're shooting a super long shot by saying I'm a cum dumpster and expecting people to be like, I'm into that.
Right.
I'm not saying there's nobody into that. I'm just saying it's from way downtown.
Genre. Yeah. It's people specifically go and look for that.
You're shooting from the logo when you start off with I'm a cum dumpster and expect the person to be like, well, keep texting. I need to hear this out. All right, Karen is 2 for 2 so far. Let's go to the bonus round.
That bitch was white! I ain't racist. How can I be racist about anybody or anything in my life? How can I?
Call them niggas. Just call them niggas.
It's time to get
gold teeth, gold chain wearing, fried chicken and biscuit eating, monkey ate baboon, big thigh, fast running, high jumping, spear chucking, 360-degree basketball.
Woo. Completing this dark ass episode of the podcast. Thank God we're funny. A Pennsylvania woman is charged with torturing a series of animals in a bid to pile up likes on YouTube.
Attention is currency.
Mm-hmm.
Am I the only one that currency mean currency to me? Like I want money. Like pay me the fuck is attention, and I'm broke. I don't understand this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Got caught up in the likes. Next thing you know, you're torturing rabbits and shit.
All right.
Acting on a January 19th tip from PETA, cops arrested Enigar Monsi. Okay. Enigar Monsi, 28, In connection with multiple harrowing vids. According to the probable cause affidavit, the clip showed a scantily clad woman using a dull knife to torture rabbits, chickens, frogs, and pigeons by slowly disemboweling and otherwise mutilating the animals while still alive. Police say the woman seen in the videos, which were posted live on the YouTube account, Mother and Daughter was the title of the YouTube account.
That's kind of...
was Monsi.
I don't think that's what they meant. Somebody go, oh, mothers and daughters. Oh, shit, the fuck is this?
She lives in Upper Darby, a Pennsylvania suburb. The affidavit includes graphic descriptions of the alleged animal cruelty. She repeatedly commented on the number of viewers and likes, solicited more because she harmed a chicken. In August 2023 broadcast, she encouraged viewers to like the video before she kills the animals and repeatedly made sexualized comments. It appears some of the viewers have joined the live stream specifically for the sexualized content. A chat moderator working with Monsi solicited financial donations from viewers, adding that if y'all don't like, she's not going to start. So I guess it's like a fetish for some. I don't know whose fetish it is to be like, I need you to kill some animals and talk sexual to me.
Right.
When questioned by the police, she reportedly confessed to harming the animals. When each of the videos was played in Monsi's presence, she became visibly upset and requested that it be turned off. She was charged with 4 aggravated cruelty to animal counts and booked into the Delaware County Prison, where she is being held in lieu of $200,000 bail. She's scheduled for a February 5th preliminary hearing in district court. Karen, guess the race.
What's her name again?
Anagar Monsi.
Anagar Monsi. I would say something from a Latino.
All right, let's check the chat room. Indian or Southeast Asian? This some serial killer shit. White, what the fuck were these views? Upper Derby is about 20 minutes from Philly, says M. Nicole, but what's the race? Harmed a chicken, did not fry it. Persian. Latina. You don't have to kill lonely at serial killer. Oh, you don't have to kill lonely at serialkillersonly.com. Latina. White as hell. All right. And the correct answer is, what'd you say? Latino. Okay. The correct answer is black.
That name?
I'm sorry, is that not a black woman to y'all? Like a black woman to me?
I still don't see it. Yeah, that's a black woman. Yeah. It took a while for the picture to come up, but yeah.
And it looked like this picture at the bottom is the one of her on YouTube or whatever with a low cut dress and holding a bird that she's probably gonna fuck up.
I got that. Not with that name. I got that all the way wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny because her name is Anagar. Nick. All right. The correct
I missed
answer
that
was
one.
black.
My bad.
Let's go to
that one. I'm sorry. That was too deep. It flew over my head.
Let's go to the sword ratchetness.
Shame on me for not catching the context clues.
Police arrest 4 youths for cutting cake with sword. Chattoshrangi police on Thursday arrested 4 youths and detained a minor boy for using a sword to cut a birthday cake. The accused cut the cake that had an image of Yerrawada Central Jail with a sword to celebrate the birthday of their friend and accused in the MCOCA case who is jailed there. The incident happened around 7:30, December 30th. At Janwadi, but it came to light after his video went viral. A magisterial court sent suspects Barud, Aniket Katurd, Aniket Dotre, and Vishal Ratnakar, all from Janwadi, into police custody until Saturday. The minor boy was sent to an observation home.
We can't cut cake with regular ass knives.
They don't play over there. And if you cut it with a knife, they will put you in jail. We've covered several stories
with a sword. You mean?
Yeah, with a sword. I'm sorry. Yeah, we covered several stories. What I don't get is why people are still doing it and recording themselves.
Yes, knowing that they like, no, bitch.
The evidence is right there. You don't even have a case.
They're like, just use a regular knife or a cake slicer. The fuck is this?
I mean, I guess what's funny is America's so I'm so desensitized being American. You know, if I saw D-Palm shooting a gun to do a gender reveal for his kid, I wouldn't even blink an eye because I'm like, that's just what we do in America. We do gender reveals, burn up half the fucking forest with it, and we just move on like nothing happened.
Move on.
Meanwhile, in other countries, if you use a fucking sword to cut a cake, you going to jail, homeboy.
Yes, you is.
Stop playing. You better.
They was like, this is not a game.
Yeah, you better put the motherfucking sword down, dog. They are locking people up.
You're going to jail.
Havalder Sridhar, I'm sorry, Havalder Sridhar Strike, in his complaint said the arrested men and 10 others gathered in the Janata Vasahat in Janwadi on December 30th to celebrate the birthday of their friend Jumham Shirkar, an under trial prisoner in the Yawada jail. Senior Inspector Balaji Pendhar said the suspects arranged a cake with an image of Yawada jail and Shrikar on it. The suspects then cut the cake with a sword and waved it in the air with the intention of creating terror among local residents. We have recovered the sword. We have arrested Shrikar in a vandalism case last year. We later invoked the stringent provisions of the Maharashtra Control of Organized Crime Act, the MCOCA, after investigators revealed he was a member of an organized crime syndicate. Well, this ain't doing much to prove he's not.
Right?
Because this is basically the free the homies cake. That was the bail out the block, you know. Don't forget about the ones that's
waving
locked up.
around, scaring people and shit.
Yeah, like that was a whole thing they did there. So yeah, there you go. Be careful at these birthday parties, everybody.
Be careful, y'all.
All right, that's it. Until next time, Saturday we do our feedback show. I love you.
I love you too.
Mwah. Bye, everybody.